morning, everyone. Adjusting things around here. Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling. Welcome to Talking Horses on a beautiful Thursday here at Belmont Park as we get into week number 5 of the meeting. We're fast, we are firm, and we don't seem to have any graphics. Guys, there we go. Now we have graphics. Okay.
You're like the wizard. You're like the Wizard of Oz. You ask for the graphics and they pop up miraculously on the screen.
Is that what the Wizard of Oz did? He asked for graphics?
No, but
I thought he was kind of a fraud, actually.
At the end.
It was a fraud.
It's the beginning of the show.
No, it was Glinda that got her home. The Wizard did
Glinda
nothing.
did a lot of the heavy lifting in the Wizard of Oz.
She did. The Wizard's a fraud.
You remember Glinda? You remember Good Witch Glinda? She was an Ohio bred. She earned like $400,000, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
My dad's friend Alan Sobel trained her for a while.
It's actually a horse. I was noticing I like the pedigree, so I was tweeted about a horse that ran at Keeneland yesterday. The dam was Natalie Victoria. And one of our favorite aqueduct turf specialists, bargaining tables first foal, is debuting on Saturday.
That's great. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's funny. She was people remember she ran just a few years ago, and she had that record where she had like never lost or something in the aqueduct turf course. She lost, I think, at the end, but she had won
like 5 for
5 or
6
for 6, something sort of incredible. Nice horse. Anyhow, head over to Naira Bets if you're not a member yet. We have a new promo code leading up to the Breeders' Cup. Give you a minute to get that there.
Just 3 weeks away.
And it's a free $25 play plus a $200 deposit match. Looks like Knicks go to me. Looks like Joel Rosario.
It certainly looks that way.
Just go to NairaBets.com. Cup25 is the promo code. Head on over. Sign up for Naira Bets. Support racing in New York. What else do we have? We have the $300 contest on Saturday, as we do every week. That's this Saturday. You'll have until 5 o'clock tomorrow to sign up. Naira.com/contests. Also, don't know if we have the slate, but America's Day at the Race is 12:30 to 5. I'm assuming it's on FS2, but without the slate, I can't tell for sure. Wait, I have the thing here. It's on FS2 from 12:30 to 5. So
there you go.
Set. There we go, right here. Everything's there. Race number 1. Thought race number 1 was sort of interesting. And
interesting start to the week.
For my money, the odds board is ridiculous right now. Obviously, U.S. Steel is not going to be 2-1. The odds are going to look different. I think So Suave is going to be a heavy favorite. Pick the horse second. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing. It's almost like Christophe said, you know what? Been 3 months since the first race. I just want to get rid of this horse. Whatever 35 claimer comes up that I can drop the horse in and get claimed, and he's pretty likely to get claimed, I just want to move on. He ran okay against better horses last time. It was a race that was dominated towards the front end. He had a good trip, but he didn't do that much running. He's going to be a short price. I don't want to take him at a short price.
One race at 14 months, cutting back, sprinting for the first time since the debut as a 2-year-old over 2 years ago. Yeah, I mean, and like you said, I mean, this horse is going to be A, short, and B, this horse has Claim Me written all over him today, right?
Which may be fine.
Yeah.
Got to win at a mile. I mean 6 furlongs. Christophe is good with these kind of cutbacks, but I don't know.
Horse can win, but I don't want to pick the horse at a short price.
I'm not thrilled with your horse at all, though, Zano. We'll take a look at Zano winning 3 races back at Gulfstream, and obviously this figure of 85 would make him tough. I don't know. I was looking up some stats for Wesley Ward, allowance to claimers. Got decent numbers, but a lousy ROI. I don't know. What is so appealing about this horse?
Andy, I had a tough time with this race. I could have went anyway between 3, 4, 8, and 9.
And you would have still missed the winner.
Well, I thought this horse would be a little bit of a better price. I didn't check the morning line. I thought this horse would be a little bit of a better price.
Really? I thought this horse was vying for favoritism. Just short every time it runs.
I feel like
Wesley Ward, Irad Ortiz. How can he be a big price?
I guess. I feel like Cam BC is going to take some money in here. First time on turf for Linda. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean. I thought the board would be a little bit more contentious as opposed to.
I don't agree. I think the morning line's got it right. I think these two will be the two favorites. I don't know. 6 furlongs. He won that race, but his other races are decidedly mediocre. I guess he could win in here. I don't know what you like about U.S. Steel. He looked horrible to me, but he is essentially Wade Potts, so you've got to include him in there.
Well, don't you think that, I mean, 2 turf races, the turf race down at Gulfstream Park, I think makes him, I don't
think it makes him. I don't think this was.
I think if he improves a little bit, and the other turf race against Fauci when he was on the lead, I don't think. I can't imagine he's going to be in front of Big Wonder in here. I would imagine Big Wonder is going to go. That's why I like Zano. I thought with U.S. Steel on the chase and Zano would just kind of trip out.
Well, who knows how they're going to ride around here. That's Nostradamus couldn't figure that out. But all the 3, 7, and 9 have a similar amount of speed. I like Courage.
Well, yeah.
No.
I think they're going for
Courageous
courageous.
contender, misspelled.
Courageous.
Courageous.
Yeah, courageous contender.
This horse's turf sprint was good. I mean, I thought the horse ran well enough to win. You look up that race, and Catcher Party, who finished second, ran a 71 buyer. In his next 3 races, he ran 82, 82, and 80 buyers. I think that was a race that didn't look that good when we first ran it, and then over time turned out to be a solid race. Back to Mike Maselli for this race. The next time, something obviously happened, hit the gate at the start, so it was completely eliminated. I don't see why this horse isn't every bit as contentious as a number of these, and I think he's going to be a much, much better price. So I really like betting on this horse. I don't love him in here, but there's a whole lot of horses I don't really like, and particularly the 9. We disagree in this race. I think you won 6 lunches. You're down to 85. I'd love to bet you the 1 beats the 3 in this race.
Sure, I'll take a lunch. Just one.
I left my
Just
pen.
some action.
Okay, 1 over 3 for 1.
I should start writing these now, too, because I forget what we have.
I like to have them. I forget, but then I see it and I get excited. Race number 2, it's confusing in race number 2 to keep up with all the entries and different things, and
yes.
I'm just allergic to picking entries, so I've picked this horse, the 5, Resilient Courage. I don't know exactly what the jostled break was particularly referring to, but as we pick this horse up in the stretch, I just thought he ran fine. He ran a bigger figure than the other horses. Seemed like a mile shouldn't be a problem for him. Seemed sort of logical, and I just didn't want to get looped into the entries, even though I didn't have a real problem with either one of them.
Yeah, if you're not an entry person, this horse makes a ton of sense.
Well, entries are terrible value.
No, I understand that. And the only problem I had last time was I kind of felt like after that little bit of a middle move, he flattened out.
Well, the other horse just ran faster.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. He ran a 55 buyer, which is faster than anybody's running here.
Yeah.
I think you're coming up with sort of random excuses.
No, listen,
that are
I
sort of
picked the horse
irrelevant.
second.
Yeah. Seems like a logical horse. Why Kazi's attitude?
I thought Kazi's attitude.
Cozy. Misspelled Cozy.
I'm assuming with his pedigree, the distance is going to help. As opposed to, I think I have a little bit of a question mark with Resilient Courage. I don't
Certainly hasn't run like a horse that wants more distance.
I don't know. I also feel like he's kind of, he's probably, and I don't know this for a fact, but he kind of looks like he's a little bit of a work in progress, right? He didn't.
Well, that's because Charlie Baker told me first time he ran that he might need a race, but the reality was. He needs more than a race.
Second time the blinkers didn't help. He shipped him to the Finger Lakes for the stakes, which came up a little light last time. So
but he didn't do any running.
He didn't do any running, but he was still, probably in over his head. I don't know. I think this horse improves off of his first effort.
Right. The problem is he hasn't improved in 2 starts. I've got him second. He hasn't improved. So I get that, but he hasn't improved. Yeah, I mean, look, his last race makes him a contender here. He seems like the first or second most logical horse.
Yeah, we have the logical horses.
He's
on
in
top.
an entry, just like the 2 and 2B are in entries, and the 2 and 2B are very similar looking horses in here. Either one of them can win. I didn't see any, the late steady for Nightly Mischief was absolutely meaningless. He didn't have any effect on where he was going in there, and that was a race that completely and totally fell apart. So I thought the 2B was a little bit dressed up. I probably prefer the 2 Wicked Bobby in here, but you get the entry and just. I wanted to bet a horse that wasn't in the entry, so the 5, 1, and 2, they all look similar, but the 5 at least won't be part of an entry, so it'll be saddled with the other halves.
Never seen a 5 entry. Have you ever seen a 5? I've seen 4. I've never seen 5 entries.
You have seen a 5 entry. You're just forgetting that there's a very well-known race with a 5-horse entry.
With 5 entries?
With 5 different entries?
Yeah, 5 different entries.
I thought you meant a 5-horse
I've seen 4 entries.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
You know what race had a 5-horse entry?
Was it the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies?
In 1988.
Yeah.
Open Mind. Lucas
right?
had a 5-horse entry. That did people a lot of good. Race number 3. It's a tough situation, race number 3, when a horse like Jake Rocks is clearly the horse to beat. We'll show him finishing, I think this is second to the Mighty Baby Yoda. Because he's 1 for 25 with 9 seconds and thirds, and as much as I'm a fan of Jake Rocks, I'm not a fan of taking a short price on him, and he may win today, but he's had an awful lot of chances, and it's not like he hasn't been a short price in some of those races.
Yes, and you know what? I really couldn't have said it best. Jake Rocks.
Better. So you could have said it best.
What did I say? I couldn't have said it better. Right. Okay, thanks. If we're being honest, Jake Rocks is supposed to win today.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to say that about Jake Rocks.
I agree.
That's it. I mean, there's no other way. There's no other way to really put it. You can't put him on top, especially today. I mean, I think he's going to be short today.
No, he's 1 for 25.
You don't think so?
He's 1 for 25. I don't think
I
that
don't
people
know,
are going
Andy.
head over heels for short. Talk about supply and demand.
Well, supply and demand has run 5 times. 2-mile races, once on the turf, the 2 dirt sprints, he's gotten the money. And I know you don't need to automatically just, let the narrative be about wins and losses, but he's run to me, he's run his 2 best races dirt sprinting. Tony Dutro's having a great year. He's putting the blinkers on this horse, and this horse can get a little lazy in the early running, so I guess Tony's looking to get a little bit more speed out of him. And when I say speed, I think he just wants to be a little bit more focused. And
Did that help him in his win 2 back? More speed?
No, it didn't, but that race kind of collapsed.
No, it didn't.
I felt like that race collapsed a little bit. No,
it didn't. You can say it felt like it did, but it didn't.
Okay.
It collapsed because he came from 6th.
All
All the other horses that were forwardly placed finished within a couple lengths of each other.
They went slow early in his debut, so him being close in his debut, I just think the blinkers are going to try and get him a little bit closer.
Whatever. I think the blinkers are
alternative.
incidental here. If anything, they're a negative, which is fine. But Tony's obviously having an exceptional year. His horses are running. He was also wide against a gold rail last time out, which I don't think should be left out. So I think his last race, I don't disagree. He doesn't seem to be a horse that wants more distance, but he was also significantly against the track last time out. And he's a very logical horse in this race, and I think he'll be the clear second choice. I don't think Mr. Briggs can be second choice in here, not after the way he ran a few days ago. He took a ton of money a few days ago, and he absolutely stunk the joint up.
Yeah,
Maybe he comes back in 5 days and he runs well cutting back. He was against the track 2 back. I guess the thinking is he finished ahead of supply and demand, but his last race was just atrocious.
Off a ridiculously easy pace. And
atrocious.
He didn't do any running. He's first time sprinting.
I like a few horses today that you've left out of your top 4, which is tough to do in a 6-horse field. I'd like to bet a lot of money with you that the 1 beats the 4 here, though. A lot of lunches.
No, I don't want to bet any of those
Well, you've got him
lunches.
3rd, and you don't have my 1 anywhere.
Well, I thought it was 6s and 3s, and then after that, you could have threw
then you should look more.
a blanket over the other
I
ones.
think One Whirlwind Ride is very, very, very reasonably logical in this race. I don't have any problem with him at all. I mean, his last race, he ran a significantly better field. He broke 2 lengths slow. He had a decent enough trip after that, but he broke 2 lengths behind the field, and that field was just a loaded field. He's done nothing but run numbers that make him competitive in his recent races, and I just think he's a perfectly logical player, and I think because of his connections, he's not going to take much money.
Not going to take much money at all.
I don't see why he isn't good enough to win this race, so I'm betting on him, and I'll use him with supply and demand and Jake Rocks.
Okay.
I think if you're going to pick against the 6, you're supposed to pick. The 6, you're supposed to pick the 1 or 3. We've gone in different directions, but I think you're making a mistake leaving the 1 out of your top 4. Race number 4. Don't you feel like race number 4 changed dramatically with the scratch of Comset?
Well, the speed is now gone out of the race. I would imagine it's Lady Thornhill's.
No, the speed is Vivizano.
Oh, Vivizano.
If Eric Cancel doesn't put Vivizano in the race, then I'm really going to yell at Steve Christ about reriding him. He's significantly faster than these horses are.
Okay.
And the truth about Vivizano is, I think you have to relook at this race when Comset comes out. I don't usually do that, but when a strong contender, I need some water. I'll get it after the break. Hey, Nathan, can we break after 4 so I can get some water? Just tell me if that's okay. Thank you. I think this race changes a lot with a scratch, and I think it really makes him very, very dangerous in here. Why don't you have Lady Thornhill in the top 4?
I didn't know what to do with Lady Thornhill off the last race. I really didn't know what to do with Lady Thornhill.
I agree, she didn't run well, but you've picked a horse coming out of a race that she was in 2 back, where she was so much the best, and I bet the winner of this race that it wasn't even funny. She was forward and wide and rushed into the pace and made a premature move, and this was a race that, unlike the one you talked about, actually did collapse. This race completely and totally fell apart, and Tingling Mint was able to take advantage of that. Tapple Cider was able to take advantage of that. So I'm not sure. I get what you're saying in the last race, but I mean, Lady Thornhill ran so much better than these horses. I just think is a tough horse. Did you leave this horse out of your top 4?
No, she's 4th.
Oh, because she scratched into for 4th.
Yeah, I scratched into her 4th.
I don't know how you could be so sure.
I had a tough time.
Clearly.
I don't want to say I had a tough time with the race. I had a tough time as to what to do with her. And ultimately, I thought she would take some money, and off of that last race, I wanted to pass. That's it.
Okay, she ran so well 2 back that if she runs back to that race, she's going to win here. And I get being scared of it, but I think to leave her off, and you want to replace the 3 with the 4. The 3 is scratch, guys. for Anthony. And I get it. Tapplesider mostly picking up pieces, had an inside trip in that race. I don't know. The only horse I could take out of that race on top is the 4 Lady Thornhill. I agree with you. The last race is a bit of a concern.
Tapplesider's probably hurt. I would imagine Tapplesider's hurt the most by Comset coming out because she's just a filly that seems
Why
like
isn't
she
Tingling Mint hurt
well,
by
because
it?
I feel like Tingling Mint off one race, it's hard to just say, well, she just doesn't have any. I mean, Tapplesider is just kind of slow early, isn't she?
No, not really. She's actually faster based in a race than Tingling Mint. So I'm going to.
Well, again, we've seen one race out of Tingling Mint.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
I don't. I think they're both hurt by it. I think Lady Thornhill is not hurt by it. She's possibly helped by it, and I think Vivizano is helped a lot. I'm a little sick of Vivizano, but the reality of Vivizano is she was right on the top of the pace that fell apart in that race, so she has a viable excuse. And if you don't trust Lady Thornhill, then she can absolutely win this race because her other turf race last year makes her very tough in this race, especially as the potential controlling speed. And that shouldn't be ignored. She has a real chance to wire this field. She's the one that benefits the most, I think, from Cosmset coming out of this race, and she shouldn't be ignored because of it. Race number 4 finished up. The late pick 5 coming up after I get a bottle of water.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Got a little water. He's Anthony Stabile. As I said to you, I'm not a disaster waiting to happen. I am a disaster currently happening.
We
up
both
here.
are, Andy.
I thought
It's
race
fine.
number 5 was really
Late pick 5 time.
Yeah, one of the most interesting races you'll see. This was really, there are a lot of horses that could win in here. And I'll start the conversation by looking at the race in the rain with Mo Faith and Quiet Out East and Straw and Gold up in Saratoga. And this was a race that was dominated in the front. And I think you have to talk about Mo Faith because obviously he's good enough to win this race. The concern with him is he is a horse who's better towards the front end. He's obviously not getting the speed in here, but he did win his first race in a mile rating. He's got to be kept close to the pace, though. He doesn't seem to be a horse that's able to be effective really rating, and you saw last time out, I thought he just dropped too far out of the race. A very lax ride by Paco Lopez didn't give him his best chance to win. And I'm not saying he was going to win that race,
No.
but he didn't show any sense of urgency. I mean, Straw into Gold, who ran 5th in that race, can win here. My problem with him is I don't trust him, and he's going to be a short price.
How short is he going to be? David has him 5-1. He's 5-1 on the morning line. This is. I'll tell you what. This is. I'm very curious.
I don't agree with David's morning line. There's no way Opt is going to be a similar price to him. I don't think.
I'm curious to see how they bet this race. And the horse that's
It's a tough race to make a
the
line.
horse is the morning line favorite. Call Me Harry.
We'll get to him in a minute.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying, I was talking about is in regards to the line. I would assume he'll be the favorite, but again,
I don't know. I agree. I
Tough
could
race.
not agree with you more. I thought Straw into Gold would be favored. I would have made him favored, but I'm a terrible morning line maker. So,
getting back to really quickly with Mo Faith, I think you're right. He looks like a horse that just doesn't really want to pass.
well,
and
he
that's an
passed
issue.
in his debut, so be careful. Be careful.
Yeah.
He passed in his debut, but I think he's better forward, and I don't know. He has a big edge. You've taken Straw into Gold. I don't know. His last race was bad, but I don't know.
His last race was bad, obviously against much better than what he's
Well,
facing
not
today.
much
But
better,
he did not run well at all last time. But he's kept decent company.
He was
open
favored
company.
in that race. Whether he liked him or not, he was favored in there.
He was. Yeah,
He
that's
can
pretty
win,
ridiculous.
but his best races aren't that good. They're just not that good. I don't think his best races are better than Mo Faith's best races. I think there's plenty of horses. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that Quiet Out East is a horse that's going to benefit from cutting back to 7. I don't think he's quite good enough, but I don't think he's far off from being a contender here. He's going to be $1,000,000 to 1 in this race.
Yeah, he's going to be a big price.
Yeah, I hear you. Listen, I think Matty's Express, who I left out, is a horse who can win this race.
I wound up tossing him.
But he's not impossible.
I thought about picking him at one point. He's outside and does have some speed, and depending on what some of the others do in here, Jose Lezcano can.
Well, the Prince of Pharaohs is supposed to go. It's hard to see him rating in this race.
But with just the one turf race, and that was the debut, and obviously.
Well, one thing about him, he's got plenty of turf pedigree, Prince of Pharaohs. He's not impossible in this race. See, I don't know if he's going to be 10 to 1 in this race because he's running higher figures lately, and I know people don't look at service as much as they should. Listen, I wouldn't want to make this line.
He woke up. I'll tell you, like you said, he kind of. You feel like the last 2 races have brought a little bit more consistency to his form?
He ran no, that's not true. He ran 2 really good races, 4 and 5 back. He just had an issue, and obviously something went badly wrong. He was out 7 months, so I think
he's a nice horse.
Well.
And maybe now he gets, to his. I mean, Linda Rice ran this horse first time turf.
He could be a controlling speed.
Yeah.
Well, I think Call Me Harry. I want to look at this race because I like Call Me Harry last time. I'm not a fan of the ride that Luis Saez gave him last time. I thought he should. It wasn't a fast pace.
Little lax,
and
right?
I thought he just kind of gave up. He's right there. He's in front. Dancing Buck, to me, did not run well in this race. I did not like his race in here. Now, maybe he improved second off, but he has a horse who's won off of layoffs. Alfalfa was just riding the rail. Why did he just give up with Call Me Harry? Why?
I don't even know if it's a give up. It's kind of like he just didn't persevere with holding his position. That's something that Louis doesn't ordinarily do.
Right.
He normally
and the thing was, one of the reasons I picked him is I thought with Luis Saez he would be forward, which he was.
Remember that.
And I picked him. Why is he losing position so badly here? At this point, I thought, I just made a bad bet. He can't run wherever he is.
No.
But as it turns out, he just lost. I mean, Scuttlebutt is ahead of him now. So Scuttlebutt, I think it was Jose Lezcano.
At no point do you think unless he's running him down, at no point is Scuttlebutt's going to be ahead of this horse going into that last race.
I had given up, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, he still has horse.
He runs the daylight here.
I wonder a little bit if he had just been a little more aggressive in asserting, and now it's 7 furlongs though. He's got to go, but there's other speeds in here. Now, I think that Luis probably has to think about this, and he thinks, you know what? I can't rate him like I did last time. I've got to go. And I think he's dangerous, but I feel like last time was the time with him. And this is a tough race, and I didn't want to take a guaranteed short price. Not that he ended up a particularly big price last time.
Right.
As far as and Dancing Buck was bad in there. I
want to give him one more chance. I know he wasn't very good last time. I want to give him one more chance.
Why?
I want to give him one because I feel like he's the horse that, off of his last race, is going to get ignored a little bit at the windows. And I thought that.
Really?
Yeah, I think
one of the favorites.
Yeah, but again, how is this board going to really shake out?
I think they're going to bet on him second off a layoff.
Okay. And I think he's going to go up in price.
I'm disappointed in him. He's not impossible. I'm disappointed.
I think he's going to go up. His last effort was disappointing. I'm not going to say it wasn't.
Opt, I don't agree with the line. I don't think he's going to be 6 to 1. I think he's going to be a higher price.
Think he's going to be higher? Okay.
You look at that last race, and that was a race that was dominated forward. The right pace was right around. It was actually a little about 21.76, but it wasn't a fast. I mean, people have to understand there are very fast paces, looking paces in turf races. They're not fast. When you have races that routinely go 107, when they go 44 and 2, they're not exactly moving up front.
Right.
It's not. People get caught up and they compare turf sprints and dirt sprints, and you can't do that.
That's an ordinary. Going that for that time. That's really an ordinary pace.
Right, people are like, oh, wait, 107 and 3. They go 107-3 every time when the turf is firm. I mean, maidens, 2-year-old maidens go 108 and 1. I mean, let's be realistic. You can't compare them to dirt racing. This horse broke a half to 3/4 of a length slow in that race. Was 2, 3, 4 wide in there. That was a race that was dominated towards the front end. And he actually made up a little ground. Now he's second off a layoff. He's not an extensively winning type, but he's fast enough to win this. I think he gets ignored a little bit in this race, and I'm going to take him. There should be more pace. It's a very tough race.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 9, 11.
I don't like the 4. The 4 is, I'm not even sure. David are going to like Swashbuckle. I don't, but I respect David's opinion.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think
a lot of ways to go.
Honestly, Bourbon Bay is tough to make. I can't bet the worst in the rail, even though he's won at 7 furlongs. If you like him, he's a big price. After that,
the rest of them would not be
I don't want
a
Alfalfa.
shock.
I didn't like Alfalfa
okay.
last race.
That's still 9 of the 12.
No, I agree. This is a really, really interesting race. Race number 6. Go ahead. We both picked the 2. Dom's feisty girl.
Yeah, trainer changed to Michelle Nevin, dropping from the special weight ranks off the cliff, the proverbial cliff, down to the quarter.
This horse got bet off the board in his
Bet
debut,
off the
too.
board first time out. I remember they thought this horse
was
a cinch. Right. Completely ignored. Runs exponentially better. And I don't know if it's the fast track. Look, obviously, there was a story on this horse first time. We haven't seen this horse in 5.5 months.
Amazing it was 30-1 in the second start.
Yeah. That never happens. When you have a story like that and a horse is 2-1, they never more than 7-8 to 1.
Well, I think
the
they
next
saw
time.
Cardenas going on, who rides fine.
I guess.
But Irad was in Florida. No,
Yeah,
Irad
was
Kentucky. No, he was the Derby. He was the Derby.
Kentucky.
That's why.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, nothing too clever here.
Very logical.
Yeah.
There are other speeds in here. I think Escapology, though. How could you leave Escapology out of the top 4?
Again, I didn't know what to do with him.
Well, since you didn't see much of his race, watch his last race. This horse had legitimate trouble last time out, and it really wasn't his fault. And he ends up sort of way back, and he has to make this big, he's just completely out of the race at this point. And the time before that, he didn't break, and he rushed up in the middle. He actually came close to making the lead. That was a big speed track, and Estetica took advantage of it. And you got a horse that's like a legitimate 5 wide. And I think the running line, if you don't watch the replays, you don't realize. And I know Benji Hernandez is on him, so you're not allowed to pick Benji Hernandez. But if you
I
look
don't
at
know
this
why
horse,
you keep saying
because you
that.
don't, because it's clear.
How many Kanemachi horses did I pick over the winter and in the spring?
You don't pick Benji Hernandez.
With Benji Hernandez
It's
on
a
him.
known fact. This horse makes an enormous run. This is actually 2 races back. This is the race 2 races back. Last time out, he didn't run that well, but he was legitimately shut off at the start and steadied out about 1.5 lengths, and he had legitimate trouble in that race. This horse has got some run. I'm using 2s and 5s here. I know the 10 Mira Fleener is going to take money in here, and I get it. It's not a lot going on in this race. You could stop the replay. It's about the 360 ball. I show you a stat for Todd Pletcher, for what it's worth. New York breds at Naira, dirt sprints, first-time stars and maiden claimers. He's not only 1 for 15. He's only had 4 of them hit the board. So that's a bad number for a trainer
Awful
like
number.
Todd Pletcher. And there's another. I mean, it's a homebred for them. I don't know. Todd's firsters are winning. You're not supposed to leave this horse out in a real play.
No.
But I'm not afraid to bet
Not in
against
this
this
field.
guy. I'm
Not
not
in
afraid
this
to
field.
bet him against this guy. You can have the others. They've
Okay.
had their chances to win. I'm 2 5s and a little 10.
Okay.
Race number 7. Not sure what race you were looking at here, but no, really. Tell me why you like Fast Break.
But do you have to put it that way?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people want to know why you like this horse because he's got no chance.
I like him stretching back out.
Oh, yeah. He looks like nothing he wants more, especially with there as a storm brewer in the race. That should really help him. It's always good when you're stretching out and you don't have any stamina to have a faster speed in there. That actually helps him. That's like a handicapping angle I hadn't considered. Is that the angle?
You're such a sick guy.
No, you're a sick guy.
He's
You're
not
picking
going
this
to the
horse.
lead. He's going to sit off of There's a Storm Brewing.
Okay.
And I think stretching back out is going to help his cause. I think he's just going to sit the right trip off of There's a Storm Brewing. I like the fact that There's a Storm Brewing is in the race. Just want him to sidle up alongside
He
of him.
was 6 to 5 in a 4-horse field.
Yeah, Andy, I know that, but he was on the lead. He was alternating on the lead. That was a
bad. He
weird
was
race
bad.
for a 4-horse field. I don't know. I thought he was just going to get the right trip in here.
The right trip would be lone speed, Anthony. The right trip.
Well, the right
would be
trip's always lone speed, but if he's not going to be 3 in front, I think he's going to sit right off of there as a
the
Storm
right
Brewing.
trip would be lone speed. So he's not getting the right trip. Now he might win, but if he's getting the right trip, the 5 falls down at the start and he finds himself 3 in front in 24 and 4 and
That's
49.
your opinion. I think he's going to get the right. I think he's going to get the
that
trip.
would be the right
off
trip.
of yeah, but he's not going to
Since
get
you've
that.
used the phrase "right trip," I think we should
he's
define
gonna,
what actually.
I think
would
he's going to get a good trip. Better.
You always say that, the good trip thing. I don't know what it means, though. I don't
I think
know.
he's going to be the first
what
one to come
percentage
calling
of
on a
horses
horse
you
that's
say-
kind of falling
What does
off.
that mean, the first one to come calling? Is that like
He's
a
going to be
proven
right
thing
off
that
the
works?
5. Oh, my God.
But
No, Andy.
But is that saying
I
it
didn't
works?
bring my voodoo doll
the first
today.
one comes calling? That's like you've got all the cliches.
I don't have the
How the heck
cliches.
did you leave out the 8 American rule?
I don't like him. I don't like him, obviously.
You pick
Oh, you
every
picked
single
Wayne
Wayne
Potts.
Potts horse that has absolutely no chance. And you are picking this. You are not picking a horse that, A, is good enough to win, that, with all due respect to Peter Torres, who's a very nice guy, always very
Great
friendly,
guy.
seems like a terrific guy, but with all due respect, I'm going to think that the Wayne Potts barn is going to do a better job with this horse. And I think that Peter probably agrees with that, and that's why he's made this switch. Now,
and he gets Jose Ortiz. I mean, how
Ortiz.
much money is this horse going to take? How?
Well, he's supposed to be about 3-1 in here.
He'll be shorter than that.
No, he won't.
Yeah, he will.
No, he won't. No, he won't. People like you are going to like him, and they're going to bet Bingo John. You don't think they're going to bet Brad Cox in here? Coming out of the Albany, dropping down? He runs this race. He ran 2 back. He's a major player in
major
here, isn't
player.
he?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
here's the problem with Bingo John. The problem with Bingo John is
no bingo.
That's his. I like Bingo. That's his.
There's a shock.
Only race. That's his only race. That kind of makes him competitive.
Well, maybe improved from his 2 early 3-year-old races. I'm not in love with this horse. I'm not a huge fan. They tried to get Joey Loose Lips home in here, didn't they? He got it was like 8-1, but he could have been like 80-1, right?
Unbelievable.
Boy, this was a brutal beat for some buddies because they knew and they almost got the money.
It's a brutal beat for
I actually felt bad for them.
Nah, I never feel bad.
It seemed like I like a wise guy move. I like a wise guy who moves, almost wins. I got a stat for him, right? Don't you have a stat? They're solid stats for Brad Cox. First time for a tag in the dirt at Naira. The ROI is around $2. So,
I think the interesting horse in here could be LaCoya Road.
Oh, please. Lay that one on me. I got him fourth because I had no one else to go.
First time Noda, which it's kind of been like,
Noda really having a big.
So I wish Peter Brandt was here because Peter is a wrestling fan. He named another one after a wrestler. Booker T didn't get in the other day.
Booker T.
Yeah, Booker T.
Booker T in the MGs.
We can bet 400.
I'm going to see Peter, and if he named that horse after a wrestler,
he named that horse after the 5-time.
Well, since you were right about what was the other horse?
Kowalski. Killer Kowalski.
Booker
T
so
is a
sure
%1 named
an erudite guy like Peter named it. And I looked at it, I asked him, that was really one of the great moments when I said, you named that horse after Streetcar Named Desire. He goes, no, I named it after a wrestler.
If for some reason you're watching, Peter, please text Danny and tell him that it's named after Peter
Peter, for some reason you're watching, reevaluate your life.
This was kind of like the Great Muda. You're not a wrestling guy. Great Muda used to come out in different face paint. Which Noda barn is going to show up? Is this horse going to come out firing first off the claim? Or is this horse going to come out
sharp barns? Rob Atras,
and that's
the Vasquez barn wins.
He's been in some Mike Maker. He's been in some. You're not wrong. You're not wrong about that. But I think this horse, unlike Bingo John, who just has the one race, this horse has a handful of races that get him to the winner's circle in here. I don't know how they're going to bet the racing. I think American Rule's going to take a ton of money. You and I disagree on that because they're going to see Jose Ortiz.
We do agree. I believe he's going to be around 7-2, 3-1.
I think he's going to be short.
I don't think you're.
Anyway, I think he can get a little bit of a price on LaCoya Road. I thought about putting him on top. You just don't know.
You should have because he definitely has a better chance to win than Fast Break.
Can I
bet he beats Fast Break?
No, because I'm telling you, I almost put him on top. He's the interesting horse.
I almost put him on top thing is the worst hedging thing.
I did. I almost put him on top.
But you didn't.
I didn't.
You should have.
I wasn't picking Bingo John.
I
wasn't picking Bingo John. That's what I knew.
Race number 8.
This is another good race. This is a fun race.
Well, this is another race where you've left out a major contender. How do you not have Windfall Profit?
I'm kind of sick of her act.
Oh,
man.
really?
Yeah.
Well, let me put it this way. She's going to beat Golden Plume.
We launching that?
Yes. I originally thought the Golden Plume ran okay in here. She didn't. She got a good ride from Flavian. She had nothing. Absolutely nothing. Jay Brown, the horse that ran well was Windfall Profit. And I'm going to finish before you interrupt me here because I know you're dying to interrupt me with some silliness. This horse broke slow in here, was taken back, made a big, wide, premature move. This was a race. I know you like the winner's next start. She's at the 8th ball right now. I think she really is.
Here we go.
Well, 7 horses near had tough trips, including the fifth horse or 4th horse who came back to win. This horse ran very well. Okay, I understand that you're sort of sick of this horse's act. This horse is better going shorter. This horse is a better horse going shorter.
Listen, I ordinarily don't go, but you're also making a case for a horse who, yes, I am sick of her act, that's going to be a short price.
Wait a minute. You're preferring a horse that's 2-1 over her, and she's 7-2 morning line.
Okay.
So
why.
Please stop with that nonsense.
Here's why.
The
other filly was off 7 months.
So what?
This filly's had so many chances already.
Have you ever looked at Chad Brown's stats off laughs?
They're great.
Okay.
But this other.
Let me stop.
Andy,
we're going to stop right now. I've looked up Chad Brown's stats, which you haven't, but you know they're great because I looked them up. So You're using it as an excuse that the horse was off 7 months, except the problem is it was for a trainer whose horses frequently run their best races.
But that doesn't mean they're all going to run their best race.
Well,
if he's
that's
30%,
that's
70%
crap,
of them
though.
aren't.
But that's crap. You can't use it as an excuse when it's a trainer who has them ready to go off layoffs. You can say, I still think she's good enough. You cannot use the excuse
So
she's
she
coming off a layoff.
she couldn't have been one of the 70% that needed the race off the break? Come on.
Anthony, 70%
Come on,
don't.
Andy.
30% win. That doesn't mean 70%
Okay, so
of them
she
needed
could
a
have
race.
been one of the third that needed a race off the break?
No. They
No,
liked her
that's
that
impossible.
Day.
That's
they liked her
impossible,
that
right?
day, and she stunk.
Okay, how many lunches do you want?
2.
Done.
Here.
I
And
mean,
you got all the best of it.
You want 4 to 3? I'll give you 4 to 3.
Okay, 4
You
to
can
3.
take 4 to 3.
4 to 3. Okay.
I'd like to get this thing down to 80 by the weekend.
You're more likely to be 150
Well, we'll
than
see.
80.
We'll see. I don't want. She's the one today.
Now I just want to bet on
I don't.
fall profit.
How about? Listen, man. We'll go right on your Naira Bet. Opt in.
Let's go to the horse that we both picked
Yeah.
on top, Evie Jets and Messidor. The reality is that Messidor ran very well. Christophe, I read a comment in the forum. I'm supposed to do a podcast, Christophe. We should spend 10 minutes on this. Where I believe his comment to Dave Grenning was something that he made a mistake. He didn't think the pace would be so slow when he told Joel to take this horse back. If he didn't realize this
took
pace was going to be
responsibility?
slow, then he must have fallen and hit his head. Because
My man alone.
this race
this
absolutely
race
was
stunk
going to
of
have
being
a ridiculous slow pace. There was no
dog
speed.
walk.
And in fact,
Absolutely.
Kendrick won because he put a
He was
horse on the
aggressive.
front end that didn't have much speed. Evie Jets is now as dressed up as horse can be. A gold rail 2 back, and then last time out, saying a super slow pace. Messidor ran very, very well last time.
Yeah.
She's the horse to beat in this race. I think she'll be favored.
Yeah, I do too. And I think you know what? She probably should be.
I think she should be favored.
She
as well.
probably should.
She
be.
ran really well.
Yeah,
last
she ran
time.
really well last time. You know, that
pace
weighted
race, she
like
really
you know
ran.
the weighted at the quarter pole. I mean, she was on hold,
It
and
was Christophe's fault, not
Yep.
Joel's.
it probably. I mean, more often than not, it's got to be Christophe's fault over Joel's, right?
I think everything's Christophe's fault.
Right. Yeah, you do.
Race number 9.
That got loud.
There
didn't
is a horse in race number 9 that if she runs back to her race 2 back, can't lose. And this is her race 2 back, Giramonte.
Yes.
And even last time when she was compromised by a slow pace set by King Angelo,
Now that was. I mean, we talk about slow paces and turf sprints. That
was a
they
crawl.
were going.
That was
yeah.
a crawl. 1,000,000
Yeah.
to 1 shot was in the lead. Giramonte ran very well in this race. It was a race the pace kind of fell apart and was right on top of the pace while wide. And this horse has run very well for Leah Giramonte 2 times. I'm not picking this horse at 8-5. There's no way this horse is going to be 3-1 in here. I think this is going to be 8-5. I actually think he should be 8-5 in this race. He's way the horse to beat, but I didn't want to pick him.
You see, I don't think he's going to take as much money as you do. I think he'll be 5-2, 3-1. So I did
He
take
will
him
not
on
be
top.
5-2.
Okay.
Not a chance.
All right.
I'll put it this way. I'll bet you he's a shorter price than the Peter Tornis horse than American Rule.
Wow.
I'll bet you 2 lunches on that, Mr. Get to 80.
All right, so let's bet 1 lunch on that, and let's bet 1 lunch that he's 5-2. I get 5-2 and higher.
Okay.
1 lunch on So I'm saying he's higher priced than American Rule, and he's 5-2 or higher. I get 7 even and higher.
Okay, and one that you've got $7 even and
Yep.
higher.
7 and up. All right, good. We got some action today. This is good.
Oh, this is big. He's going to be a very short price near, and he should be. I mean, he's just got very little competition to speak of. Sonic Speed is sort of the best one to look at, and he's not much racehorse. I mean, Data Deal, I don't know. I'm not a fan. I didn't think he ran well in his races.
I like that a deal a little bit. Blinker, a little bit of a kitchen sink, and I think he's going to be a price.
As he should be.
Okay.
Okay, fine. I pick Gatond on top. First-time starter for Joe Sharp, who's got some success with first-time stars and maiden claimers and turf sprints. And turf sprints, nothing huge. The Dam won 5 of 24 starts in the turf. You got a Courageous Cat. It's the first foal from her. I thought this horse is a little bit of intention for Joe Sharp. I thought this horse might be kind of interesting.
Sure.
So I've taken that one over the 5 and the 9 begrudgingly. The horse that's interesting in here, I think, is Divinicris. Personally, this is that family. This is that good turf family, but it's sprinters. It's JC Shooting Star.
Yeah, JC, right.
But it's turf sprinters, and they
Right.
tried to go long first time. This was first involved in the pace. It didn't completely fall apart because the second horse with the favorite was right on top of the pace. But I thought getting to a sprint for the first time might be interesting at a huge price. Mm-hmm. I'll bet he beats Data Deal. Can I bet you a lunch the 2 beats the 6?
No,
You got
yeah,
the
go
best
ahead.
of that.
Go ahead. I think that deal could be a little interesting today. I'll take it. It's action. We need action.
A lot of action for you.
A lot of action. That's what we want. That's why we're here. What are we here for? Watch the grass grow? Here for action. We both wore some purple today.
No, it's time to go. The weather's coming up next. Head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, no better time than the present to sign up for Naira Bets. $25 Reader's Cup free play. I think it's a free Reader's Cup play. Use Cup 25, plus we'll match with $200 your initial deposit. Play through Naira Bets. Support racing in New York. We have the contest. $300 buy-in Saturdays till 5 o'clock tomorrow. Sign up, naira.com/contest. More information. We are on FS2 from 12:30 to 5 covering the races. Anthony, I hope you and everyone has a wonderful day. It's a beautiful day.
I'm sticking around today. Yeah, it's beautiful here today.
Good to hear. Good to hear. You're sticking around all day? Really? Can I ask you to drop me the Nah, I don't want to make you leave and come back.
See, we'll see how the lunch bets are going.
No, it's going to be early. It's going to be early. I got to get home. All right. I'm on early with Acacia, Richie and Greg, and, of course, Maggie as well. Maggie will be on all day, but Acacia and Maggie, I think Maggie will be on early. It's late, whatever. Confusing myself and everybody. Have a great day. Johnny I up next, the reprise, the scratches and changes.